Hello and welcome to our lab today. Today we're going to be doing PowerShell and running some virtual machines. So if you go to this URL, you'll be able to see the commands. And I only picked the ones that I got to work. So what we're going to do is Windows subsystems for Linux, so WSL. So do not use a domain computer. If you do want to use your VM, I had a problem with it. So you want to use a physical machine, and then we want to run PowerShell on it. So I'm on my physical machine, type in PowerShell. Now remember, a hacker or someone who wants to get into your network is going to use anything native on your network. And if every Windows machine has PowerShell enabled, that's one way the hacker can just do a lot of damage. So I'm going to start up here. So we got PowerShell open. So we're going to look online to see what distributions we can download. Copy, paste. I right click and it'll paste. All right, so you can see the name. So if you want to pick one of these, don't do the friendly name. Do this column here. So the default is, I believe, Ubuntu. So we're going to do the WSL -list verbose. That'll tell us if we have any machines running, and it says no subsystems of Linux on here, no distributions. So now we're going to go ahead and install Debian because it is right here. So it goes out, downloads the files it needs, its operating system. All right, so make up a username. This is Debian. I'm just going to go lowercase Debian so I won't forget it. My default password. All right, so you're in Linux box. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and update. And what's your prediction? Should this be a big update or a small update? Now, is this a full operating system or a smaller container? Think of the time it installed. Enter your password. So if you're looking at the command, the first is the update. It'll read the packages. The upgrade will actually download, apply them. The -y will say yes to the question up here somewhere. Right here. And there's your summary, and then it started installing. All right, so what we're gonna do now is exit. You could do nmap, you could start a patch, you can do anything you want like you could in any Linux distributions, but let's just exit. Now let's do the verbose command. And you see we have version 2 running. Okay. So now let's go ahead and do an Ubuntu. Okay, this is downloading like the first, the Debian did. Right, so it won't use admin, so just So go take that out. I'm going lowercase Ubuntu. Default password. Once again, you can do your sudo update. And it should not take that long because they keep the operating systems pretty current that are sitting online. Maybe this was a little bit bigger of an update than the Debian. All right, so then we're going to exit again, and then we're going to do the verbose, and then we're going to unregister them, which means we're going to turn them off. So this is how I try to learn as I'm going and putting in. If you're doing coding, you do print screens so you can see where the error occurs. So I like to do a. So let's go ahead and exit. Do the verbose list. So now we have 2 running. Oh, the Debian stopped. So let's unregister the first. And then run your verbose again, verifying that you stopped that VM. And now we're going to take down Ubuntu. And then verbose. Now these are kind of fun. We're going to go to do some commands that are like pretty popular. All right, let's clear the screen. So first thing you would do is on your local machine, if you want to match what I'm doing and not have to change anything, go to your documents and make a PIX folder. So in documents, just right click, go to new folder. I'll do like PIX 2. And then what I did is I just dragged some files in there from my downloads. So open a new window. So I just picked a bunch of things, individual things. And you just drag them in there. And then if you want to, you can put a text file in there. So when I'm going to go back to mine, you can see what I have here. So if I want to put a text file, Power Shell is fun. Save, and then I'm going to go ahead and exit. All right, so back to PowerShell. So get child item, and we're going to do, so I got to first do ls, or I can do dir. Does ls with -w work? No. So we just need cd to documents, do, and then I'm going to press the tab key, and it automatically filled it in. So now do ls. So you can see folder. So if we remember, if you want to look at it this way, one way is a command way. This is the GUI way. So there you have your custom templates folder, your my data, PIX, PIX2, and projects, and then the files underneath. All right, so here, let's go to get command. So it's going to list all the CMD lets and functions and aliases. So it's a lot. So you want to cancel this after a little bit. Control C, and I'm going to clear. All right, so that was, now we're going to be more specific with a name and then a certificate. So this will come in handy if you're dealing with certificates. So you can see these are different than the functions. And you can see that add trusted provisioning certificate, remote desktop, SMB share, that's Simba, remote desktop, and then these others. This I thought was interesting. It actually, instead of doing this, it puts it in a more of a, so it's more of a GUI. Lots of things running. All right, so let's just type Notepad. And remember, somebody had to have an alias to make it go to the right folder and to execute notepad.exe. All right, we'll just let that sit over here. And then we're going to get process name Notepad. So there's two handles, and you have these columns here. The one the really most important is the process name, and then your process ID here. And look at the CPU usage. So then go to Task Manager. And then we can see very similar things. So here's all your processes. Go to Details. So right now you're at the very top. There's performance, app history, startup apps, users, details, and services. So details gives us what we want right here. So, oh, I wanted this one up here. All right, so these got to be moved up. All right, so we did Notepad, we tasked. Now let's do this command here. So it's going to close my Notepad, not just one, because I have two. There's two here. So you could see what, if a hacker can get into the system and start doing shutdown processes, be very dangerous. So Notepad. All right. So we're here. Okay, so this one here, we'll do the same thing Notepad did. So let's open up Notepad. Well, hold on. Let's do the right process ID. So to list your services, moved everything around. All right, so I get process. I'm going to put that right here. So let's close something different. All right, I've opened up Notepad, so let's run the command again. See if we can find Firefox. All right, so let's start with this one here. So kill, and then the process ID. So if we run it again, 28,976 should be gone. Let's go all the way up to this one here, the smallest Firefox number of 3068. We're in the right column. Hold on. Yeah, process ID. All right. Let's try to kill something here. Just to try Notepad again. Let's where's Notepad at? 27204. $27,224. 204. 27,204. All right, we'll skip through that. So here, we did that one already. So that one shows us things that are running. This is going to show us things that are using more than 10% of the RAM. These are all using more than 10% of RAM. So we're looking at the log events here. So anything that's been logged recently. And so then we have warning, information, and then you have your details over here. These are nifty. So it tells you your Wi-Fi name, received bytes, sent bytes, unicast. So this would get all services named with the strings Windows. And then this test net connection. So computer name, remote address, Wi-Fi, that's my source IP address, which is part of our network. Being succeeded true and 31 microseconds. And then this one here is going to do a trace route. Which is going to test all the layer 3 devices, which is mainly routers. So we started at this number, which is my router. This is another router, and you start to see here, we leave the 10 network. So now we're going across the real internet at this point. So once it gets here, that's a real public IP. And let's see if this one works. So it runs all of the information about the status of TCP attempts. Nope. So some of these didn't work, so I have to work out those details. But hopefully this helps, and I will see you soon.